Hey everyone, welcome to Heal the Girl Network, a safe place to talk, share our stories, and learn from one another. I'm Kiana, and today I'm going to be talking with embroidery queen Stephanie Alvarez about body image and her story with breast implant illness. At 20 years old, she decided to have breast implant surgery, and in March of 2021, she's had explant surgery. She's now had her breast implants removed. We're also going to be talking with her about her embroidery business and how art can be therapy. Let's catch up with Stephanie. Welcome to the Heal the Girl platform, Stephanie. I'm so excited to have you. Your story just really touched me when I saw what you were going through, and I figured this would be a great place for you to share. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to what you've experienced.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so glad to have you. But before we get into the serious stuff, we're going to play a quick little icebreaker game called Taking a Walk in Stephanie's Shoes.
Yes.
So
I'm excited.
Yes, show us your favorite pair of shoes, and you're going to share why you love this pair of shoes or a great memory that happened in the shoes.
Okay, so right now I want to say my favorite pair of type of shoes are anything that's 2-inch heels. And so here's one of them. It's this little cute Steve Madden snake print. And again, like I said, it's 2 inches. I don't know, at least for me, as I'm getting older, I'm also realizing that I prefer more comfortability than pain, on my actual feet. So I don't know, for me, I just feel more confident. I feel you can still look very, cute, beautiful, feminine, womanly on even though the shoe's not super tall. I used to when I was younger, I used to wear all the time 4-inch, 5-inch heels because I'm super short. But I guess I also, with age, I started getting more comfortable in my body. So I didn't care so much of wearing these 4-inch heels, because when I would wear those before, it came mainly from a subconscious place, But once I started really growing into my body and embracing who I was, in every aspect, from the color of my hair, my eyes, my skin, my height, and everything else, I didn't care so much anymore about how they say that beauty is pain.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, but for me, as I get older, I just like to feel more comfortable. Honestly, 2 inches, do it for me. As long as they're cute, you can pair up with jeans, a dress.
Exactly.
And there you go.
Oh, I love that, Stephanie. Those are beautiful shoes, by the way. You can definitely wear them with a plethora of different types of outfits and comfort over pain all day.
Yes, I know, exactly. Same here.
You actually started off with a great point, which was about body image, comfortability, how we feel in our skin, and finally embracing that. And I feel like that's a journey for most women. I'm included in that. I'm also petite, 5'2". So I've often felt the need to wear heels, or we're going to be talking about breast implants. So I'll say a push-up bra, so I can relate.
Right. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think it's very important, for women to start learning to embrace, just how God made them, whether it be their color of skin, um, their height, their weight, because all of that, honestly, when we don't really embrace that, what it does is that it stops us from the calling that God has for us to go full throttle because we don't feel enough.
Exactly. I agree with that. It's a journey, but if you can get there quicker, then that's all the better. So let's talk about your journey. You shared on Instagram that you've experienced, I believe it's called breast implant illness.
Illness, yes.
Take us down memory lane of being 20 years old, even before 20 years old. Where were you mentally, emotionally, and why you wanted to actually get breast implants?
So I'm actually going to work backward. Well, first of all, it's very important for any woman to realize what are the motives behind why they put on breast implants. Honestly, there's always a motive behind everything that we do. So the real good thing to do is to look at the root of it, not so much at the surface of it, but the actual root and the deeper motive of why you're doing what you're doing. When it came to the breast implants, society did have a big role of telling me that I needed to look a certain way to feel womanly enough, to feel feminine enough, to feel sexy enough, to feel pretty enough. And at that age, I want to say that my relationship with God wasn't really founded. You know, I knew about God, I did believe in God, but I honestly, um, I didn't really go to church. You know, it was one of those things that my parents had raised me up to believe in God, but I didn't really have a relationship with God. So I honestly did lack a lot of identity, you know. And I think also like when we're young, we're still also getting to know ourselves more, right? And so society did play a big role, like I said, you know, and listening to what social media had to say. For example, even today, like when you go on Instagram, like you look at all these beautiful models, and honestly, because I had breast implants, I can tell they have breast implants for sure. Like I can spot them like, you know, that quick, you know, and they do look beautiful. But again, it's social media really portraying something so subconsciously in our mind that in order for us to look beautiful like these women on social media and have all these fun and for this clothes to fit us so pretty, then we need to have a bigger breast, you know. I don't believe that you need to have breast implants or bigger breasts in order to be enough, or for you to be more sexy enough, you know, feminine enough. I do want women to know that you don't have to um, have bigger breasts in order for you to be all these things. But now, if we also start retracting a little bit back, at that specific time, a lot of the guys that I dated were cheating on me. And when I would look at the girls that they would cheat on me, they looked more womanly, they were more voluptuous. I live in Miami, so there's a lot of Latin women, and most Latin women, you know, tend to be more voluptuous. Mm-hmm. I'm more from like the type of Latin woman that's more like just straight, not really voluptuous. I don't really have family that's voluptuous or anything like that. My parents are from Guatemala, so my ethnicity is basically Guatemalan, you know.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yes. I mean, before I think I would embrace it. I didn't know my identity, but now like I embrace it like full on, you know? And even the company that I have, I'm working with Guatemalans.
That is beautiful. I cannot wait to talk about that.
Yes, I'm excited to. So then I was dating the wrong guys. They were cheating on me. And again, I would look at the woman that they were cheating on me with, and I would realize that they were more womanly. And I've always had a baby face. So at 20 years old, I looked more like I belonged in middle school still. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I didn't feel womanly. I felt like when I would look at myself in the mirror, like there was something wrong. And so I'm like, well, society is saying that if I have bigger breasts, then I will look more sexy, more pretty, etc. But what I didn't realize also was that I was dating the wrong guys for the wrong reasons. Now, I'm not going to talk here about like the guys who I date or anything like that, but what I just really want to emphasize is that sometimes we date the wrong guys subconsciously for the wrong reasons. So again, as I'm working backward, you'll start to see the real motive of what led me to get breast implants, because it was a whole bundle of things. So then what I really was looking for at that moment was to just feel affirmed, to be loved, feel accepted, to feel protected, because I did not get that from my father. So now what we're looking at is actually what we called daddy issues. I came from a father that, don't get me wrong, I love him. He's always been there for me. I know that he loves me. I have a good relationship with him, but he was never affirmative. So to actually hear the word, I love you, or you're beautiful, he will only do that in a letter for my birthdays or for Christmas, stuff like that. So he'll be like, to my beautiful daughter. And he will write something and then he'll say, I love you, you know? But to actually hear from his mouth, he never told me that. So I never had an actual father that would tell me, look, Stephanie, this is what you look for in a guy, because you're valuable, because you're enough, because you're beautiful, and you deserve the best. I never, growing up till this day, you know, that I am 32 now, I have not heard those words from my actual father. It's something so different when somebody looks at you, you know, and tells you that. And so on top of that, I grew up in a dysfunctional family, and my parents' relationship was toxic. So I grew up in a toxic environment in a dysfunctional family with daddy issues. And so what I was really looking for when I actually started dating men was, like I said, affirmation, love, protection, to feel enough. And when I didn't get it because they were cheating on me, and I will look at the woman that they're cheating on me, then I still feel this void, and I still feel this emptiness. And so now I'm trying to replace, I try to replace it with other guys subconsciously without even knowing. And now I'm trying to, now that they're not giving it to me, well, something has to still replace it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I listen to what social media is telling me, and social media is telling me to put on breast implants, do plastic surgery, because that's what's gonna really pop me up, and that's really what's gonna, fill up this void of not feeling pretty enough, right? But I don't. I think that's one of the biggest lies that as women we believe from media, because reality is that I know that I used to believe this to myself, or oh no, but I'm doing it for myself. And it's like, no, are you doing it really for yourself, or are you doing it for social media? And the reality is that you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it, yes, you're doing it for yourself, but for social media, because you're doing it so you can look good in your social media platforms. Because there's a whole bunch of other women that look so beautiful. So you also want to be part of that. So you want to be part of what the scale of what the world says beauty is. You want to fit in. You want to be number 10. So you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for yourself to fit in social media, but you're not really doing it for yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, Stephanie, you have quite a story. I know so many people can relate to this, especially like the daddy issues and how that like translates in like other areas of your life. So this is what led you to ultimately have the surgery. Did you talk to any friends about it before you did it? Was this a personal decision and you said, okay, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to do the research? How was that process?
So when I was young, I used to I was very go-getter, very adventurous. I did not ask for permission, honestly, from no one. That was another thing. Like when it came to the breast implants, I didn't ask anyone for permission. And I just consulted with certain family members that I knew that I was going to need their help. They need to take care of me while I'm in recovery. I just took it upon myself. I'm like, no, this is what I want, and no one's going to get me out of it, But I also realized maybe like a year ago, or a couple years already in having my breast implants, that I never, like I said, I didn't have a relationship with God. So I never even consulted with God. And I realized that a lot of women do this. They might know God, but when it comes to that place of actually getting your breast surgery done, they don't actually pray to God to know his answer. I remember that I did pray. And what I would pray was this prayer. It was, God, please don't let me die in that surgery room. Please let everything come out good. So I did pray.
You did.
But not to get to know God's answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It was just about me. This is what I want, protect me. And this is what I'm going to do, protect my decision. But at no moment did I consult with him to really know what he really thought about the situation. And as our creator, he knows best. He knows what's best to put inside of our bodies.
I also had that moment in my life where I looked at myself and said, maybe this would be something that would help me out a little bit. Maybe, I don't know if I like really took it seriously enough to like investigate like the research part and say, okay, I'm actually going to do it. But I just saw that I like the results, I guess. I like the results.
Yeah.
And I too had to go on a personal journey and say, what would be the purpose of doing this? So fast forwarding to 2021, you're having your explant surgery. What happened? How did we even get to this point of now removing the breast implants?
Okay, so this was definitely a journey. I started having issues 7 years down the road. So at first, everything was good. I never had complications. I even had a trainer like a year after I did my breast surgery. And everything was good. I was able to do every type of exercise with my upper body. 7 years down the road, I started having complications. And I felt when I would do upper body workouts that I was going to pull a ligament, a muscle, a tendon, and that's how much it hurt. So I don't know what was going on. So I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to stay off the upper body, exercising my upper body, because I don't know what's going on. But then there came a point that my breasts were really like painful out of the exercise that I had done. And so at that moment, the only thing I knew that could go wrong with implants were that if it got ruptured. That's only information that I knew at that point. You know, that's the only information that I ever knew ever since I got them inside of my body. That's honestly most of what doctors talk about, the possibility that it can get ruptured. That's about it. That's all they let you know. They don't let you know anything else. And so I went ahead and I got an MRI, an ultrasound, a mammogram, because I thought for a second, like maybe my breast implants got ruptured because it was hurting so much. But all of them came out good. So at that moment, I'm like, okay, well, I'm healthy according to the MRI, according to the ultrasound, according to the mammogram, everything is good. So I don't know why I'm in pain, but hey, let's just keep on going with life. But as the years started progressing, after the 7th year, I started having like a lot of complications. You know, I started having complications in my breathing. And so today I'm sitting here and I'm speaking to you, but just maybe like a year and a half ago, you would have seen me doing this a lot. Like every so minute, because they came a point that my implants were really kind of like attached to my rib. In order for your lungs to expand and be able to breathe, your ribs need to, you know, expand as well. Right. But now I'm having this complication where as much as my ribs are trying to, I have my breast implant sitting on top of them that is really kind of like attached and it's not letting them. So I'm having a lot of complications breathing. I'm having even more complications of just lifting up anything. Like there came a point to just lift up a 1 pound was so crucially painful. And I think one of the biggest things that really popped out to me was one time that I call him my nephew. He's really my cousin's son. And I was carrying him, but the night after a few hours, I started feeling so much pain on my breast, like excruciating pain. And I realized that I never wanted to be again in that place where in the future I do want to have kids and I can't carry my own kids and nurture them because of vanity. But at this point, I still wasn't 100% sure what was going on with my health.
When you were experiencing all of this pain and discomfort, like, did you even think that it was the breast implant? I'm sure like you probably didn't even think about that, did you?
No, exactly. I didn't. So that specific day, that specific scenario that I just told you, that's what really opened the door for me to investigate more, for me to do more research to see what is going on. Because that day, I ended up basically falling in bed with so much pain on my breasts. My breasts were on fire. I felt like, I don't know, I felt like there was something wrong with my body. I did not feel good whatsoever. And my breasts were literally like on fire. Like that's how painful it was and how much burning sensation I felt. And so I went ahead and I looked online, you know, what are the symptoms when implants get ruptured? And but it just didn't seem to what I had. But I kept on doing research. And as I kept doing research, I came to find out that Allergan, the company that's of my implants, had made a recall list for textured implants, which is what I had. And so they had done a recall because it was giving certain women ACLC, I believe it's called. So it's kind of like breast cancer. And I'm not gonna say it's breast cancer because it's 2 different types of cancer, but it is due to the implants, you know? And at that moment, my whole world just fell apart because at that moment, I'm like, oh my God, I must have cancer. You know, this company is already doing a recall on these type of implants. I'm feeling really sick. There's already women that have come out that have, you know, basically let's just call it breast cancer, for a shorter term breast cancer because of the implants. I'm thinking like I'm just a ticking time bomb because there had already been months and years already now that I can no longer do upper body anything because it's so painful. And so when that opened the door to me actually do more research, I did start thinking maybe this is true. Maybe this breast implant illness is real. And so I started doing more research and stuff like that. And I saw how many women were giving testimonies about it. But at this point, I still didn't want to believe that, I still wanted to say, no, it has to be something else, And so I went to my primary doctor and I told her, hey, I've been feeling like this. Do you think it has to do because of my breast implants? Mm-hmm. And she just looked at me and she just went like, kind of like, maybe, I don't know. But it looked like she didn't have importance. Like she didn't believe in what I was saying. So I'm like, okay, well, she's a doctor. She knows best, right? So then I went to a plastic surgeon, a very good plastic surgeon here in the Miami area. And I told him about the situations because at this point too, I'm having a lot of nerve issues. So I'm having a lot of pain on my back, right here on the rotary of my arm and on the side of my breast. So especially when I would sleep. If I slept on this side, it would hurt my breast a lot. And then I would wake up with such a pain right here in my arm and in my back. And he too didn't believe me. He said that he believed what I had was nerve issues related to somewhere else, and that he was going to send me to a neurologist because he thought that it was probably coming from my neck, that the nerve issue was coming from my neck and just radiating down. I did not go to the doctor that he recommended me to go to because deep down inside, I just knew it had nothing to do with my neck. Mm-hmm. But he too disregarded what I said. So now I'm having two type of doctors tell me, no, it's not your implants, basically. They're not believing me. And I want to believe them because I don't want to take them out, But as time started progressing, I did also see that it had to be my breast implants. And I kept getting more sick. I was without energy. My body kept being always like inflamed in a lot of areas. My gut was always inflamed. I always had like my stomach looked kind of like I was pregnant because my stomach was always inflamed. I was having nerve issues. Obviously, that would cause also sleepless nights. I came to just honestly ask God, God, I really need to know the answer of why I'm sick and what's going on with my body. And I really felt from the Lord that he was telling me, take out your implants. That's the reason why you're this sick. Take out your implants. And so at this point, I was really at a crossroads between replacing them or just taking them out forever. Mm-hmm. One thing that people don't know was actually that it was very tempting to just replace them because the company Allergan was not going to respond for me to take them out forever, but they were willing to replace the implants for another type of implants. And that never happens. Like no one ever pays for your implants ever. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to pay it yourself. Or unless you have like a sugar daddy, then, Wow. But that's how tempting it was. It was like, okay, well, we're not going to pay for your explant surgery because you don't have cancer. Mm-hmm. But we're willing to pay for the replacement of new implants. Mm-hmm. Hey, like, why not just get a replacement, get new implants? Maybe I'm going through all of this also because they're old, Mm-hmm. So I was at a very crossroads, and a lot of things also happened along that time that made me make that decision to just fully take them out, like forever.
Post-explant surgery. How do you feel? What is your perspective of your body image now? How are you feeling even physically? The health issues. Yeah. Did you feel like you noticed immediate relief?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So post-explant surgery, I definitely now can do upper body workout. And honestly, like I don't have that pain anymore. I can breathe good. I don't have those sleepless nights, and I'm actually able to prove to the doctors, that what I mean. I haven't gone back to that plastic surgeon that told me that it had to do with my nerve issues.
Okay.
But if I were to be in front of him, I would tell him, hey, I was right. It was my breast implants. Now I don't have that pain in my breast. I don't have those nerve issues that's radiant all the way to my back. Like I said, I don't have even that inflammation in my body. I have a friend that she says, oh, you look like you actually lost weight. And it's not that I've lost weight because I haven't been eating less or exercising. It's just the fact that honestly, my body is no longer inflamed as it was because of the toxins that, the silicone implants release. Honestly, my health is back basically to normal. One thing that I do tell you is that, yes, my breasts are not as they once were before I did surgery. I do have scars. My skin is a little bit stretched out. But even like that, even though I'm flat, I have scars. My skin is a little bit stretched out. I honestly feel more confident than ever. I actually, I tell you this, I'm, thank you.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. And that's where really like this quote that we see a lot, perfectly imperfect,
Yes.
comes into play for me, because I feel perfect the way that I am, even though I'm actually more imperfect than I ever was from the beginning. You know what I'm trying to say? Before I was just flat chested, but now I have scars, now I have this and that. And I feel like I'm actually beautiful and perfect, and there's nothing that has to change.
I love this. I love this. And this is why sometimes we go through these things, because somebody else needs to hear. Somebody needs to hear your experience, your journey. This is a blessing now to be on this side of it. And the Lord did answer your prayers. He did protect you through the surgery. He did allow you to make it through.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
But now you
Yeah.
can tell your story and share, this is amazing. You feel all the more beautiful having gone through your experience.
Exactly. And one thing, I would really give it as an advice to any woman out there that's planning to have, any type of plastic surgery, honestly, especially if it's implants in your body, whether it be butt implants or breast implants. But just stay in the aspect of breast implants, really think about it, really think about the motive behind of why you want to get them done, because the motive again behind why I wanted to get them done, the real root to it, like I told you, were daddy issues without me even knowing it. All of this came up to the surface once I really had to make that decision. But that decision wasn't easy. So I had literally placed all of these insecurities under my breast implants. So for 11 years, I lived a lie. I felt very confident with my body. I liked my body. But once the moment came that I had to take them out, all these insecurities came right out again. It's kind of like when you don't deal with something and you place it under the rug, or you place it all in the closet door, you shut that door. Well, guess what? Sooner or later, those things are going to come tumbling down from that closet door. It's going to open, it's going to come all out again. And yes, maybe breast implants can get us even a husband, right? But I can assure you that those insecurities are still going to come out in your marriage, because it's something that's way deeper rooted inside of your heart. It has nothing to do so much with the exterior, but more of the interior of your heart. I just really give that advice to women, that if you are planning to get breast implants, and I don't say it from a judgmental way, because I went through it myself, I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite, because it was even hard for me when I was in those crossroads. Like I told you, do I stick with replacing them, or do I take them out forever? That was something that tear me apart, honestly. Really look at the motives behind why you're going to get them done, and not just the simple surface motives. No, the root motive, the deeper motive of why you're going to get it done. I'm going to get a little bit out there, but okay. A lot of people sometimes, cut themselves. They go through depression, suicidal thoughts, and they cut themselves. And there's a lot of women that they don't go through that. They don't go through suicidal thoughts, and so they don't cut themselves. But that doesn't make you any different because you're cutting yourselves right here. You might not be cutting yourselves here on the wrist, but you're cutting yourself right here. I literally have paid, let's say, $13,000 in total to have these scars today.
Wow.
And that's where you have to really think about it. Is it worth it? You're literally paying $13,000 to just put scars on your body, you know? And on top of that, I'm not including all the medical doctor visits that I had to do when I was sick. So how much worth it really is it to you, these implants? How much really worth is it gonna bring you? Because these scars that I have today have cost me $13,000. I do plan a little bit maybe in the future, not to do plastic surgery again, but maybe just to do a little bit of fat grafting. Because obviously, you know, like I told you, my skin is a little bit stretched out. So just getting, you know, but that would be another cost. So it's like you're spending so much money to get your breasts back to normal. Like, why not just stay with your normal breasts, you know?
Make life easier for yourself.
Exactly. No pain, no surgery fees, no doctor visits, no nothing like that. Right. And it's like, save yourself those extra $20,000 that you may pay, put it into a down payment for a home, or to go travel the world, or do something else more valuable. But it's not worth the pain, the emotional, mental, spiritual stuff that you're really gonna go through. Look at the total picture, you know, because I did not do that. I was basically in the world when I put on my implants, and I came to the things of God at 22. So I saved myself for all this time. It's like, God, like, you know, I saved myself this whole time, you know, like you have brought him between 22 and 32. And just to talk about woman to woman, you know, like, God, I could have enjoyed them with my husband because I saved myself specifically for that. And that didn't come to happen. That's why for me, it was also such a heartbreaking decision, you know, like to see my dreams, my desires just tumble down, you know, trying to say like, you know, God, I waited this long. Like, why didn't you bring him in that 10-year span that I had my implants on? You know, why couldn't you make it happen? You know, because my plans were get married, have kids, and then I can take them out if that were, if that was the case, you know? And so that just goes to show you that, you know, your life is not this movie sometimes that you play in your head. And life won't go exactly the way that you plan it sometimes. So it's really good to really look into the future and look at all the possibilities, not just one possibility, because that's what I did. And nothing of that happened. And so for me, that's why another reason why it was so hard for me to make that decision, because now I'm thinking to myself, you know, like, man, I'm gonna look botched, you know, I'm gonna look ugly, you know, my husband's not gonna really like love me, you know, maybe that husband is gonna even like be unfaithful to me, just like these other guys were who cheated on me. If, you know, at that point I didn't even have scars, but they still cheated on me. Now that I do have scars, now that my breasts are even more imperfect than they were ever before, you know, maybe my husband will cheat on me. And so I started having all of these thoughts. And then that's when the Lord really started working in me, you know, even more, to really understand that, you know, like the verse says, you were made in the image and likeness of God, meaning that God is perfect, meaning that when you start saying, oh no, but I'm not, I don't look cute, I don't, you know, I'm not good in this aspect of my body, you're saying that what God created is not good enough, you know. And the word says it itself, you know, God made you in his image and likeness. So God is perfect. That means you're perfectly fine the way that you are.
Yeah.
Also, the word says, you know, that you were wonderfully and fearfully made. Hello, you know, when God created you, he didn't make a mistake. He knew exactly what you were going to need in your own body to create that purpose for which he made you.
Stephanie, you are preaching, girl. This is so good. God is diverse. You know what I mean? Like he created everybody differently, but he had a reason for that. You had a vision for how you saw your life to be, but God's vision was even bigger than that. You know, whenever that man comes into your life, he will be able to appreciate all of you, the scars, the story, all of it.
Yes,
You know, it made you who you are today. You are
exactly.
a woman who is really in the word of God and you embrace who you are.
Thank you. When you really stand in that identity from God, um, you will also know what you want in a man. And when you know what you want in a man and you know who you are, you know that you're valuable, you will know how to pick better. I didn't have that identity at 20 years old. So I didn't know how to pick. I didn't know who to choose. But now that I have more identity of God in me. And now that I have really owned who I am, like you said, this whole testimony has made me who I am today. I know for assurance that my trust is in God, my confidence is in God, and that when that man comes along, that I'm also going to be looking at his identity and his confidence is in God. That he's not going to be looking so much at what the worldly men see. I really do think that a man of God is going to look at much more than just the physical, but the heart of a woman. You know.
Amen, Stephanie. You are absolutely right. And I pray that the Lord would bless you in his perfect timing with somebody who is the biblical version of a husband in the right time, in the right season. You guys are going to be on fire. You guys are gonna be amazing.
Thank you.
I also want to talk about your business. I know that you have an embroidery brand. So can you share a little bit more about what you're doing and how you're even implementing your story into your business now?
Yes, definitely. So I got this idea for my business of embroidery about maybe like 3 years ago. And so I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just, just took it by faith, just kind of trying to let myself be guided by the Holy Spirit. And little by little, I have been progressing and, again, like I've never had an actual mentor, like business mentor. Especially in this area of embroidery, it's a little bit hard. But I did also felt from God to do it more modern, not to do it so like grandma style. But it's more than just that. It's also me being as a designer. What my main focus are these necklaces that I make. So what I do is that I design them, and for the most part, I send the design to Guatemala to a fair trade organization. They're not getting less than what they should earn. It pays indigenous women fairly pay, equal pay. Um, and they do the embroidery for me. They send me back the fabric, and then I assemble it into the necklace.
Oh, that's amazing. And I've seen those necklaces too. They're absolutely beautiful. Even the engraved messages that you have on them is really cool.
Yes, and then you can engrave something in the back because the pendant is wood. But then after I had my surgery, I really also felt like I really wanted to expand it a little bit more and actually have workshops, just doing like regular stuff to actually also kind of like woman empowerment, where it empowers the woman to know that they are enough. Also, I do believe embroidery is very therapeutic nowadays. Like mental illness is a very big thing, just all over the world, and so if I'm able to expand these workshops to actually teach kids, women, whoever wants to join the class, I think it would be a way that they can also help them to learn how to cope with anxiety, to cope with stress, to cope with depression, because it's a form, like I said, of therapy where they're able to release all of their stress, all of their anxiety. And sometimes if people even have depression, then it's a way to express how they're feeling and just create art. My company, it's called Stitch Away Designs. And maybe you are stressed out. Maybe you had a hard week at work. Why not release it out and with something that's therapeutic for you? If it's embroidery, then, so be it, come and take my workshop.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. So how can listeners find your page?
Right now, my products are on Etsy .com/stitchaway design. And then for the actual workshops and stuff like that, it would actually have to be through my Instagram. So those are the only two links that I'm working with right now. My Instagram, which has in the bio, it will have the link tree button, and they can just learn more stuff about me through there.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining me today and for sharing your story, being transparent, and encouraging and inspiring others. So you guys make sure you follow her on Instagram, and we will get to see all the amazing things that Stephanie is doing. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.